Well, one fine spring day, the afternoon bus was just on the point of leaving the village and turning into the main highway when a small voice was heard shouting, "Stop the bus! Stop the bus!" and a tiny hand was raised commandingly. So, children, what you have been told here that it was just one fine day, it was just one fine spring day, means the weather was really very fine. I don't exactly mean to say that it was the month of spring, but it was a spring day, it was a fine spring day. That is a clear cut reference to the fact that the weather was really very fine. The weather was really very fine, neither it was too sunny nor it was too cloudy, so the weather must have been very pleasant. And it was the time of the afternoon when the bus was just on the point of leaving the village. The bus was just about to depart from the village. It must have been proceeding towards the town. So it was on the main highway when there was heard the shouting of a small voice. There was heard the shouting of a kiddie voice. There was heard the shouting of a childish voice. And what that was shouting, stop the bus, roko bus, mujhe aana hai. And a tiny hand was raised commandingly. Means there was a tiny hand that was raised commandingly, roko roko roko, in this way. तो आपने क्या देखा कि मौसम बड़ा अच्छा था, एक ये फाइन स्प्रिंग डे था. अब स्प्रिंग डे का मतलब बहुत हद तक अच्छे दिन से ही है कि द वेदर वॉज प्लेजेंट. और उसी टाइम पे बस जो है वो निकलने ही वाली थी, बस जो है वो चलने ही वाली थी गांव से शहर के लिए. और तभी एक छोटी सी एक नन्ही सी आवाज़ सुनी गई, बस रोको, इस तरीके से. और एक छोटे से हाथ उठे हुए दिखाई दिए कमांडिंगली, कि जैसे पूरे कमांड के साथ. कमांडिंगली का मतलब कि विद अ ग्रेट अथॉरिटी एज दे वर ट्राइंग टू स्टॉप द बस. तो ये वल्ली के ही हाथ थे जो बस को रोकना चाहते थे. तो ये बात आपने यहाँ तक समझ ली होगी बच्चों. The bus slowed down to a crawl. So as you have already seen that it was Valli who had been standing over there, and she had started waving her hand just in order to stop the bus. So now the bus had started slowing down to a crawl, means कि बस ने धीरे धीरे रेंगना शुरू कर दिया, कि उसने अपनी स्पीड घटानी शुरू कर दी. And the conductor, sticking his head out of the door, said, "Hurry then, tell whoever it is to come quickly." So now when Valli wanted to stop the bus, she just waved her hand, and then ultimately the bus started slowing down. And now the conductor, he just stuck his head out of the door, कि कंडक्टर ने अपना सर जो है वो दरवाजे से बाहर निकाला और कहा कि whosoever wants to come must come up quickly, कि जिसको भी अंदर आना है वो जल्दी से अंदर आ जाए, बिल्कुल भी टाइम मत लगाइए, तुरंत अंदर आ जाइए. It's me, shouted Valli. So now it was Valli who shouted that it is she herself, that she would like to make a journey. I am the one who has to get on. So she said that it is she herself who wants to get on, that she has to get into the bus. कि वल्ली ने बताया कि मैं हूं और मुझे जाना है शहर की तरफ. But now the bus had come to a stop. So by the time the bus had ultimately been stopped, now the bus was stopped. And the conductor said, "Oh really? You don't say so." So the conductor was just surprised. He said, "You really? Do you want to go to the town? You don't say so." You don't say so means your personality don't speak so. कि ऐसा लगता नहीं है तुम्हें देख करके कि तुम शहर जाने वाली हो. Yes, I simply have to go to the town, said Valli. So Valli emphasized on the fact that she wants to go to the town, still standing outside the bus. So by the time she was still outside the bus, and she said, "Here is my money." She just extended her hand and said, "Here is my money," कि मेरा पैसा है, लो और मुझे शहर ले चलो. She showed him some coins. So now Valli wanted to do the journey. Valli wanted to go on a ride to the city. And that is why she extended some money. She showed some coins. Okay, but first you must get on the bus. तो कंडक्टर ने कहा कि ठीक है पैसा रखो, first you should get into the bus and then you can just pay the money, said the conductor, and he stretched out a hand to help her up. So the conductor just made the statement, stretching out his hand, कि ठीक है हाथ पकड़ करके तुम अंदर आ जाओ. He just extended his hand so that Valli may hold it and she may come into the bus. Never mind, she said, I can get on by myself. So Valli was always a very proud woman. She was always a very proud girl, you should say. I said woman because here she has been referred to as madam in the chapter. So she was a very proud girl, and she just did not want to have the help of anybody. And she said that she would be able to come by herself. She does not want anybody's support or help. You don't have to help me. The conductor was a jolly sort, fond of joking. So now the conductor was in a little mood of fun, and that is why he had started saying something jokingly. Oh, please don't be angry with me, oh, fine madam. So he just commented on the girl that you are looking like a madam. You are really like a madam. And please don't be angry on me. Come into the bus. Here, have a seat right up in the front. So the conductor offered him the front seat. Everybody, move aside. Please make way for madam. So that is what he was saying in a funny tone. This is what he had been saying jokingly. प्लीज मेक अ वे फॉर मैडम कि मैडम को जाने दीजिए, थोड़ा सा सीट खाली करिए, मैडम इधर आगे बैठेंगे, इनको बैठने दीजिए, चलिए हटिए. तो दिस इज व्हाट ही हैड स्टार्टेड डूइंग. It was the slack time of the day. So children, what you have been told here that it was not that kind of a rush hour. People were relaxed at that time. It was not that kind of a busy hour. And there were only 6 or 7 passengers on the bus, and thereby the bus was also not very crowded. The bus was also having less number of passengers. They were all looking at Valli and laughing with the conductor. So everybody had just been smiling and laughing at the behavior of Valli कि देखो इतनी छोटी सी लड़की कितने बोल्डली बात कर रही है, तो सब वल्ली को देख देख करके हंस रहे थे. और आपने क्या देखा कि ज़्यादा भीड़ भाड़ नहीं थी क्योंकि ये कोई रश आवर नहीं था. Wally was overcome with shyness, so now Wally was shy. Avoiding everyone's eyes, she walked quickly to an empty seat and sat down. So now she started avoiding the eyes of the people, she started avoiding the eyes of the passengers over there in the bus, and she just went to a corner and sat down on a seat. Slack time. Okay, so here I have given you the meaning also of this particular expression. A time when there is not much work. So maybe start now, madam. I wanted to highlight this meaning that has been given here, but just by mistake I have written it in the same font and same color. So you should pay attention and you should try to understand that slack times meaning has been given here in the next line. Now see, may we start now, madam? So the conductor just sought the permission from Wali. He just had the permission from Wali whether they should be starting up or not. The conductor asked, smiling, and then he blew his whistle twice, and the bus moved forward with a roar. So ultimately, the bus moved forward. Ultimately, the bus started journeying. It was a new bus. Its outside painted a gleaming white with some green stripes along the sides. So the condition of the bus was really very fine. It was a new bus, and that is why its outside and inside were really shining. So here you have been told about the paint scheme of outside, that it was painted in white with some green stripes on the side. There were some green stripes on the side. Inside, the overhead bars shone like silver. So the inside of the bus was also in a very fine condition, and the overhead bars, you would have seen the overhead bars, वो जो रॉड लगी रहती हैं इसको पकड़ के खड़े हुआ जाता है जिसमें सामान वगैरह रख दिया जाता है. तो जितनी भी ओवरहेड बार्स थी जो अलग अलग पर्पजेस के लिए यूज होती हैं, तो दे वर ऑल्सो शाइनिंग लाइक सिल्वर. Directly in front of Wali, above the windshield, there was a beautiful clock. So on the windshield जो सामने का शीशा होता है, तो windshield के ऊपर there was a clock. The seats were soft and luxurious. So the seats were also very soft and very wonderfully cushioned. They were very properly cushioned, and that is why they were comfortable and luxurious. Wally devoured everything with her eyes. So Wally just devoured. Devoured means खा जाना, कि जैसे अपनी आंखों से वो सब कुछ खा जाना चाहती थी. वो इतनी खुश थी इतना सब कुछ देख देख करके कि जैसे सारी खूबसूरती को वो देख करके खा जाना चाहती थी, अपनी आंखों से खा जाना चाहती थी. But when she started to look outside, she found her view cut off by a canvas blind. Blind means curtain. So when she wanted to look out, her view was blocked by the presence of a curtain that was hanging there, and that was a heavy canvas curtain. And that is why Wali was not able to see outside. So what she did, she just stood up on the seat and started looking out of the window. So that is what you have been told here. She stood up on the seat and peered over the blind. She started looking over the blind in this way. The bus was now going along the bank of a canal. So by the time the bus had been traveling on the bank of a canal, the canal was this side. On the bank of the canal, the bus was proceeding towards the town. Canal, something नहर वगैरह जैसी चीजें जो होती हैं, they are called canal. The road was very narrow. On one side there was the canal, and beyond it palm trees, grassland, and distant mountains. So what you have been told here, children, that the entire scenario was very fine. The scenery was really very beautiful. There was the canal flowing, and beyond the canal there were palm trees, there were distant palm trees, and there were grassland, and there were also the mountains in the background. So overall you can say that the scenery was really very fine, the landscape was really very beautiful. And then there was blue sky. So that is all about the landscape, that is all about the beautiful landscape of the place. On the other side was a deep ditch. So on the other side there was a deep ditch, काफी गहरी खाई थी. And then acres and acres of green fields, there were green fields, acres and acres of green fields, green as far as the eyes could go. So there was only greenery prevailing over there. So overall you can say that the entire scenery, entire landscape, entire means area was very picturesque, कि हर चीज़ बहुत ही खूबसूरत, बहुत ही सुंदर थी.